I was able to take my family a few years ago to Universal Islands of Adventure, where we rode my favorite ride, the Spider-Man ride. And we got done with that ride, and we were coming off, we were exhilarated, and we went to the bookshop. And we walked through, and we were mulling around, and then we decided, well, hey, let's go to our next excursion. So we were on our way to our next coaster when we realized Faith wasn't with us. And so what do you do when your child is lost in the park? Huge park. So we dropped everything and we diligently searched for her. And that's what Jesus is telling us in Luke 15. He doesn't tell us one story. He doesn't tell us two. He tells us three stories about how God feels about lost things. He begins telling the story about the shepherd. You see, this shepherd was daring because he left his flock and he went to save that one that was lost in the dangerous wilderness. But he had courage and he went. And then Jesus tells us about the woman who had a coin that was lost. And she was persistent because she didn't stop until that coin was found. Tore her house apart until she found that coin. And then we read, Jesus tells us about the father of the prodigal son. And that father, he was patient because he was willing to wait for his son to have a change of heart and come home. And what reception did that prodigal son get? When he came home, his father with his open arms running toward him. But we can't forget that he had an older brother too. And what was his reception? It was more crossed arms because he was more focused on his brother's sin and righting that wrong, so much so that he didn't even see his brother as lost. And too often, that describes us in the church. Too many times we see unbelievers and their sins, and we are so focused on making them right that we may miss an opportunity to share with them the thing that they need the most, and that's Jesus. Because sometimes the first thing we have to do is rescue. Because when I finally found Faith, where was she? She was back in the bookstore. She was still looking for her name hanging in the keychains. She didn't even realize that she was lost. Yet we were diligently searching for her because our child was lost. So do you think I went up to her and do you think I scolded her for not being with us? Or do you think I tried to teach her a lesson and tell her how to stay with the group in the park? No way! I hugged her and I kissed her so that she would know that I found what was lost. And that's exactly what Jesus did. Jesus came to this earth so that he could seek the lost children of his Father. And you know what's amazing? They loved him. Sinners loved him. Why? Because he saw them as lost, and he showed them how valuable they were to him. So valuable that he went to the cross to die for their sins. So during this communion time, I want you to urgently seek those who are lost around you. You need to be daring and willing to go places and do things that you have never done before in order to reach the lost. We need to be persistent and never stop as we're trying to reach the lost who sometimes are unlovable. And we need to be patient and allow God to work in their hearts. And when they come home, we need to uncross our arms and we need to open them up so that we can welcome them home. And then we get to celebrate. So let's reach our lost world the way that Jesus did as we remember the sacrifice that he made for us, the lost. And let's be excited when they come home. Welcome them with open arms and let's have a great celebration. Please, let's prepare for communion as we sing.